Now the recording is in progress. Okay, it seems everything to be a little bit small. Can you hear me? That is the most.
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, because I set the recording button and then it took like 2-3 minutes later that did it responded. So I just wanted to make sure. Okay, perfect. Good. But I think finally, let's start with our practice. That's the most important thing. So let's find a place to come to rest in our bodies. As body and mind are interconnected, so if the body is relaxed, the mind will follow. So take a moment here to ground your sit bones, to elongate your spine, roll the shoulders up and back. Take a moment to softening your belly muscles, softening your neck, relax the jaw. And then you can decide if you want to meditate with open or slightly closed eyes. And just try also to bring softness into your forehead and into the back of your head. And let us take here another minute to really check within our body from the top to the bottom if everything is relaxed and soft. And if you encounter any tension, any tightness, you are absolutely welcome to take an exhalation and to relax. And from here now, I invite you to also allow the mind to be fully here. Give yourself like this mental permission for this next 25 minutes or so to be fully present and to be fully here. And from here, let's continue by setting our intention for this new week, this new day. And let us include here from the beginning. I mean, it's a practice of meditation, but this can become so worthwhile for the world and for all sentient beings if we including them all from the beginning into our practice. So take a moment to open your hearts to all sentient beings, to all humans, to all animals, and everything in between. And really let us have this wish that we really want to develop ourselves, to investigate our mind further and further, to training our mind, to obviously to feel better in all bodies, but and in all mind, but to finally share this with the world. So open yourself, open your heart. Let this meditation become an act of loving kindness towards the world. And then from here, again, start observing the breath. Just noticing your inhalations and your exhalations. Start arriving with every breath in your body further and further. And you can decide now if you want to observe the breath in the area of your nostrils or the area of your belly. Choose one of those 2 points, places, and then start on observing the sensations of the breath in that. Just noticing the inhalations and the exhalations, nothing else. single pointedly developing the mind. And we're going to do this now for another 5 minutes in silence, just trying to stay with the breath, moment by moment. And whenever you are drifting off, remember to simply relax body and mind, release the distracting object, and return back to the breath. Relax, release, and return at any time. Hey, then from here you can let go of the breath And allow my voice to guide you now in our second part of this meditation today, where we're going to contemplate and work a little bit with the topic of anger. So from a Buddhist perspective, anger is kind of a very destructive emotion. It clouds the mind, it disrupts our peace. And finally, we know it all, it never leads to true solution. When anger arises, it harms us more than anyone else. And today I will present you a way how to meet anger with wisdom, compassion, and clarity to learn of the situations for the future. It's very important that we are not trying to suppress anger in any way. We just want to learn to develop, to see it differently, so we can really, instead of getting angry, finding solutions. And I think this, if we see in the world, is so needed, right? And also anger is like a certain energy which has different levels, right? Like it doesn't have to be immediately the full-blown anger. Frustration, aversion, it's all little versions. Okay, so let's get another moment here. And just once more connect with your breath. So you're really in your body. And we're going to work now with a few visualizations. But if it's not so easy for you, you just try to stay in your heart space, stay with your feelings and emotions. So now for this contemplation, I invite you to bring some situation, a recent moment to your mind when something didn't turn out the way you hoped. Small frustration, a little irritation, or a little disappointment. So let's start with an easy situation. Maybe there was something yesterday, the day before, just recent. So take a moment to recollect this moment where you felt some little frustration, irritation, or disappointment. Take a moment to hold the situation now quite clearly in your mind. Now, I want you to ask yourself gently, not judging, just ask yourself, could I have done something to change the situation? If the answer is yes, then anger is necessary, right? Because we can simply take the action which is needed. If your answer is no, if there was nothing you could have done, then what's the point of getting angry? It's very inspired by Shantideva. So just reflect your mood and could you have done anything different to change that situation? If yes, simply take the action. And simply if no, then what's the point of getting angry? And just take a moment to reflect on that. It's a little reflection of when things are not going the way we hope them to be. Okay, and then just allow the situation now gently to dissolve to the back of your mind. Because now the situation is a great situation for your learning. Now, the next situation we're going to work with is to bring to our minds a situation where someone criticized us and you felt irritation or anger because maybe it was injustice or whatever. So bring to mind a situation where someone criticized you and you felt irritation or anger about it. Maybe you find a recent situation, maybe a situation more way back. Take a moment here to picture yourself back in that situation. Someone criticized you. Yes, we all want to be seen as the good boys or the good girls, but let's work with that. So now having that moment of criticism in our mind, now you can ask ourselves, yourself, was their criticism valid you received? If what they said was true, but if what they said was true, then there is actually no need for anger. Because their word gives us a chance to grow, to correct our faults and shortcomings, and to improve ourselves. On the other hand, if their criticism was invalid, if what they said was untrue, then they are simply mistaken. And there is no reason to be angry at a misunderstanding. Finally, either way, somehow the person who criticized us, they gave us the opportunity to develop patience. So in that way, they even have been kind to us. Because without people being mean and angry at us, we cannot even develop this amazing quality. So take your own conclusion on if you are criticized, was the criticism valid? Then again, no need for anger. Then maybe we can adopt it and change ourselves, our habits, our patterns. And if it was untrue, then they are simply mistaken. It's a misunderstanding. Just reflect here another moment more. Okay, so from here, then I'll also allow the situation to dissolve into the back. In your heart, look at the situation now as through the eyes of loving kindness, as it's benefited you on your path. Now we're going in another reflection. Maybe you can recall a moment of conflict with someone. A situation where you felt yourself kind of tighten with anger. And now I really invite you to be very courage and very brave. So now you have the situation in your mind, a conflict with a person you had recently. Now step into the other person's shoes. Imagine seeing the situation from their perspective. Can you look at you from the eye through the other person which you had the conflict with? And can you, when you step into this other person's shoes, can you notice they are just like you? They just want to be happy and they do not want to suffer. It's just because of their confusion, habits, or pain. They might create suffering for themselves and others. Another way is also, can you see that person separately from their behavior? Can you separate the person you had a conflict and the conflict itself? Because if we can do that, we can address harmful behavior without directing hatred or anger toward the person itself. And just take a moment here also to reflect in your own way. Another moment. And now from here, let's go into our last reflection. Now bring to mind a person who irritates you. And yes, maybe when we try to visualize a person, the heart tightens a little bit. Keep it open. And just for this meditation, allow them into your mind, into your heart. And see that person's face very clearly, the person who irritates you. And yes, we all have them. That can be also maybe more in our closer circle, maybe a politician. Make that face you imagine now very clearly. And now if you look at that person's face, ask yourself, what exactly is so irritating at them? Is it something they say? Which specific word, if so? But words are only sounds. So which sound is irritating? Or maybe it's something they do, a precise movement. Or is it their appearance, their color, their shape? Really look at that person closely. What really irritates you? And if you look at it in all your, can you see that that irritating person is actually something created by our own mind, a label, a concept, a projection on a human being. Because on a deeper level, also this irritating person, they just want to be happy and they do not want to suffer. There's no difference. It's never justifying any deeds, but it allows us to see each and everyone around us through the eyes of loving kindness and compassion. Once more, look at that irritating person. Can you let go of the label irritation? Can you see the person just for what he or she is? Let the realization of soften the edges. And just contemplate here another minute. And then take a moment to make a conclusion out of these practices. And one of our beloved teacher always said, like, don't get angry, get creative, transform this energy. And hope with these little reflections you got some insights. So just take a moment to make your insight out of this meditation. And then allow the mind to rest with that insight for a few more moments here. And then together, let us close this practice together. Take a moment more, notice your breath. Feel your sit bones, smile on your lips. Gratitude for this beautiful practice we could engage together. And then let us dedicate out this practice to the everlasting peace and happiness of ourselves and all sentient beings. May these little fruits of this practice, the seeds we have planted now grow. So then, when the difficult situations overcome us in life, we more and more will be able to come back to that solutions. Om Mani Padme Hum, may wisdom and compassion deeply arise within every one of us. Thank you so much for practicing. And I wish you all a beautiful new week. And if you have any questions, I keep the chat open for a few more minutes. Thank you so much.